All right, I will call us to order. It's 6 p.m. It's
Recording in
Wednesday,
progress.
September 8th, 2021 meeting of the Hingham School Committee. This meeting is being held remotely as an alternate means of public access pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021, temporarily amending certain provisions of the open meeting law. You are hereby advised that this meeting and all communications during this meeting may be recorded by the Town of Hingham in accordance with the open meeting law. If any participant wishes to record this meeting, please notify the chair at the start of the meeting in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 20F, so the chair may inform all other participants of said recording. Harbor Media is recording tonight. Is anyone else planning to record? Okay, seeing no one. Item 2 is the motion to enter into executive session. Liza, do you want to do the honors?
Sure. I'll make a motion to enter into executive session and to reconvene an open session for the purposes of discussing a memorandum of agreement with HEA Unit A related to the reopening of schools, related to the HEA Unit A collective bargaining negotiations. 2, to discuss memorandum of agreements with non-union interim administrators Jennifer Arnold and Gregory Lamotte, and to discuss the contract of interim superintendent Dr. Gary Maestas, and to approve minutes of the executive session meetings of August 3rd, 2021 and August 23rd, 2021, the public discussion of which would be detrimental to the committee's bargaining position.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Michelle?
Aye.
Jen?
Aye.
Ness?
Aye.
Carlos?
Aye.
Tim?
Aye.
Liza?
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. Okay, so we're going to executive session and we will reconvene in public session at 7 p.m. Hi, everyone. We're returning to open session and just welcome to everyone to the first school committee meeting of the new school year. And also
Recording in progress.
want to welcome Jen Arnold, our new foster principal. Thanks for joining us. I'm going to read this chair comment again. This meeting is being held remotely as an alternate means of public access pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021, temporarily amending certain provisions of the open meeting law. You are hereby advised that this meeting and all communications during this meeting may be recorded by the Town of Hingham in accordance with the open meeting law. If any participant wishes to record this meeting, please notify the chair at the start of the meeting in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 20F, so the chair may inform all other participants of said recording. I know Harbor Media is recording tonight, and I see Jenna Manto from the Hingham Journal is recording as well. Is anyone else planning to record the meeting? If you either unmute yourself if you're on the panel or raise your hand. Okay, seeing none, we just had an executive session and there were 3 items, potential action items coming out of that. The first is to consider a memorandum of agreement with HEA Unit A and act as appropriate. We're not ready to do that now. We're still working through some things with the HEA, but soon, hopefully. Number 2 is to consider a memorandum of agreement with non-union interim administrators Jennifer Arnold and Gregory Lamotte, and to act as appropriate. Liza, do you want to take this one?
Sorry. So I will make a motion that for the committee to approve the contract terms for the 2021 to 2022 school year with interim principal Jennifer Arnold.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Carlos. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor. We'll go roll call. Michelle?
Aye.
Jen?
Aye.
Ness?
Aye.
Carlos?
Aye.
Tim?
Aye, welcome, Jennifer.
Liza?
And I'm an aye as well.
And I'm an aye as well. Okay. Next is to consider the contract of interim superintendent, Dr. Gary Maestas, and act as appropriate.
Oh, wait, we have one more for Gregory Lamotte.
Greg Lamotte.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So I'll make a motion to approve the contract terms for the 2021 to 2022 school year with interim principal Gregory Lamotte.
I'll second.
Okay, and we'll do roll call. Michelle?
Aye.
Jen?
Aye.
Ness?
Aye.
Carlos?
Aye.
Tim?
Aye.
Liza?
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. That contract is approved. Next is to consider the contract of Interim Superintendent Dr. Gary Maestas and act as appropriate.
Okay, so then I'll make a motion to approve the contract terms for that with the interim superintendent, Dr. Gary Maestas, as discussed.
Second.
Thank you. Okay, all in favor, Michelle,
Aye.
Jen,
Aye.
Ness,
Aye.
Carlos,
Aye.
Tim,
Aye.
Liza,
Aye.
and I'm an aye as well. Okay, and I just wanted to welcome Dr. Amanda Donovan, our new East principal, to joining us. Thank you for joining us tonight. Number 4 is approval of the minutes of the school committee meeting of August 19th, 2021.
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting of the school committee of August 19th, 2021.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Okay, seeing none, we'll do roll call. Michelle,
Aye.
Jen,
Aye.
Ness,
Aye.
Carlos,
Aye.
Tim,
Aye.
Liza,
Aye.
and I'm an aye as well. Those minutes are approved. Next, the minutes of the school committee meeting of August 23rd, 2021.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the school committee meeting of August 23rd,
Second.
2021.
Thank you. We'll do roll call again. Michelle,
Aye.
Jen,
Aye.
Ness,
Aye.
Carlos,
Aye.
Tim,
Aye.
Liza,
Aye.
and I'm an aye as well. So those minutes are approved. All right, number 5 is the Hingham School Committee is questions and comments. The Hingham School Committee encourages community engagement and welcomes questions and comments as agenda items are discussed in the meeting. In addition, we have set aside up to 15 minutes at the beginning of this meeting for comments and questions that fall under the purview of the school committee and are not already on tonight's agenda. If any guests wish to speak, please use the raise hand function, state your name and address, and address your comments to the chairperson. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes per speaker and must relate to topics within the scope of responsibility of the school committee. As established by the Massachusetts general laws, the responsibilities of the school committee are to 1, select and evaluate the superintendent, 2, review and approve budgets for public education in the district, and 3, establish educational goals and policies for the schools in the district. Speakers are encouraged to present their remarks in a respectful manner and to consider the privacy interests of others. The public comment period is not a time for debate or response to comments by the school committee. The school committee is not adopting or endorsing any of the comments made during the public comment period. So with all that being said, if anyone has a comment, if you could just raise your hand using the raise hand function under participants. Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to number 6, the superintendent's report. Gary?
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for yielding time to me to discuss my first superintendent's report. I'm honored to be a representative of the Hingham Public Schools, and today was a fantastic day for the school district. I'd like to send a thank you to parents for their patience and for their diligence in helping us to get schools reopened. It's been a trying time for everyone to try to get schools open under different conditions than we had last year. And I am grateful for the work that it has taken to get our schools open on behalf of our faculty, staff, and administration. It's been a very difficult summer, a short summer. I have said repeatedly over the last few months that at this time of the year, our administration and staff are probably about a 2 on a 10-point scale, and I think everybody's at an 8 or a 9 coming into the school year. So, we're just trying to add a level of understanding and clarity on how we open schools under the new conditions. We had a great day in the Hingham Public Schools today. I am very pleased that we were able to receive students and to be able to operate under abbreviated normal circumstances due to COVID. We're a resilient group, and I understand that our kids are just unbelievably excited to be in school. Today, Dr. Jamie and Dr. Vines, they were out in the schools today visiting classrooms. I will be in classrooms across the district Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week. I kind of wanted to do things on Monday and Tuesday, but I think I'm gonna have to stretch it out to Wednesday. But our goal is to get into to classrooms and to see children, to see our faculty and staff, to see how they're doing, and just work with them and say hi. You know, that we're here to support them, and we want them to have an unbelievable school year. And that school year is, as of today, the first day of school, 180 days, face to face, 5 days a week, and that's our ultimate goal. I know there are a lot of complications to that. And the first one is the test and stay model. The test and stay model, you know, I want to apologize to the stakeholders of the community first and foremost, because the test and stay model information was, you know, this was something that we signed on to, and we got information as late as last Friday as to how it would work for us. Actually, we had Dr. Jamie had a conference call this morning on actually adding some more clarity to the operations of the program. We are working with CIC, which is the third-party vendor from the Department of Education, to kind of give a level of understanding on how the program is going to work in school districts. We have a good handle on how things are going to be working today. We sent information out yesterday, last night, to parents, and from me, please hear this. We apologize from the school district that we couldn't get this stuff out to you 2 weeks ago. Unfortunately, we just could not do that. There were some complications on getting information and to adding a level of clarity to our families. So if you haven't received that information, please let us know. It went out last night via email to the stakeholders, parents in the district, parents and guardians of the district. So just know that we're working on that information on a daily basis. We also put together a series of frequently asked questions. So, you know, I get emails from time to time from parents. So do our principals. And what we want to do is collect those questions that are asked, and hopefully it'll benefit other families in the community so that you can kind of have an understanding of what's happening in the school district. With that said, I just want to announce to the community that we're going to work on enhancing our communications. We do have a desire and a mission to actually have a communication support in the district to be able to get things out in a timely manner, and we're continue to work on that. I know people want to find out information, they want to get it quickly. They don't want volumes of information. They want succinct information that they can rely on. So we'll be working on that in the days to come, and hopefully you'll see some of that working on. We're working to benefit you. One of the things that I want to talk about very, very quickly is the test and stay model. We are an approved test and stay district, and one of the points that was not clarified last night that we got information today was relative to the entire package of test and stay. So the test and stay model is a package with all testing, including pool testing. So as of today, September 8th, 2021, you cannot opt out of one of any of those options. You can accept it or you can reject it. Rejecting basically means you don't fill out the form. So within the email that was sent last night, there is a tab that you can click on. It'll take you right to the website where you can register your child for the test and stay program. If you don't register, it means that your child will not participate in the COVID testing program in its entirety. If you choose to do that, you can submit that form electronically. That's all you have to do. There's no paperwork that has to be sent to the school. You just do that electronically. So I want all our parents, if you haven't done that, please do that as soon as possible. The test and stay program will start on Monday. So next Monday, we'll have that operational. So please note that that's how we're going to do things. If we have concerns in our buildings regarding students that were close contact, We will implement a very similar protocol to what was in place last year. We may have, if there is a COVID close contact, we will work through those same protocols that we did last year until we actually implement the program fully next Monday. So I'd like to just reassure parents that the Test and Stay program is designed to keep kids in school. So testing will be done in our schools by a third-party vendor. They are on call. We have one person that is a point of contact for the entire Hingham School District, and they will receive a call of when testing needs to take place. They will appear at one of our designated schools that is requesting testing, and that testing will be done. So I just want everybody to know that that's the model. We hope in concept it works. We hope November, December, January we're still operational and doing what we need to do to keep kids in school. The other thing that I'd like to just stress to everybody, I characterize our faculty and staff, administrators coming into the school district at a very high level of there's a high level of tension. And I chose that word tension carefully because we all feel it. Everyone's at a point where we're tired of COVID. We all are. We would like it to be back to normal. I want everyone to know that we're working through these issues one at a time. We're trying to be patient. We hope you can be patient with the schools. Principals, faculty and staff are doing everything they can to be able to manage these situations on a daily basis. As time goes on, we get better and better at what we do. And a lot of the things that we're dealing with regarding COVID are situations that many people have never dealt with before. And we can rely on the best information that we have from the Department of Education, the Department of Public Health, the CDC, and all these different resources. So we're going to continue to manage this, but we're going to continue to be firm but fair. We have to be that way because we have over 4,000 students that we're trying to ensure the health and safety of, and we're excited to do that. But I would hope that as the days go forward, we can all work together and be a cohesive unit to be able to address this together. The next thing that I want to talk about is the strategic plan. I know last year there was a great deal of communication about how we're going to get the strategic plan up and running. We're going to kick that up, and I think it's vitally important for the district to get back on track with the strategic plan. We're going to be looking for some facilitation, coordination of that plan, and that is going to be done in the weeks to come. I'm looking forward to working with the stakeholders of the community and the school committee to actually move that forward. Our goal, and that's something that's near and dear to me. I think it's vitally important that the school district has a strategic plan in place before the 2022-2023 school year. I think it's vitally important. So we're going to be working on that, and that's a huge goal of mine as well as the school committee. I did mention to you about communication, and that's one thing that I find it somewhat cumbersome to send out communications to everybody. I'd like to acknowledge my direct staff, Sherry Robertson, for communicating with me at 8, 9 o'clock at night to try to get stuff out. It shouldn't be that way. We're going to have to correct this. We're going to have to do better as a school district of getting information out. We are committed to doing that. So I just want to share with the community of stakeholders here in Hingham that we're on the rise. We're going to make things as best as we possibly can and try to create a level of expectation that's on the positive up and coming side. So with that said, I think I'll stop talking. So back to you.
Okay,
Sherry.
thank you very much. That's really helpful. And fully on board with the strategic plan and the communication too. So that's great. Okay, next is other communications. Oh, I see a hand. Susie O'Hara.
Hi, Susie O'Hara, 7 Wanders Drive. Dr. Maestas, thank you very much for your welcome, and I hope we're off to a great year. I did email you earlier about the test and stay and the pool testing, and I just wanted a little further clarification just for anyone else who could be on that has similar questions. So for children who are eligible to be vaccinated, they don't need to really participate in this unless they want to, because they wouldn't be subject to any quarantine protocols if they were a close contact, correct?
You know what, I would like to see if, I'm not sure, Jamie, if you'd like to contribute. The wrinkle to the question that you asked that I didn't get relative to your email was about quarantine kids, and maybe you asked it, but so the test and stay model is very beneficial for us to keep kids in school. The whole idea of quarantine students is another level. So, Jamie, would you like to take that question?
Sure, I'd be happy to. Dr. O'Hara, can you just repeat the question was for students who are fully vaccinated? In grades 7 through 12, we're actually not running a pool testing or routine safety check testing program. At the 7 through 12, we're running symptomatic testing and test and stay, and that would only impact unvaccinated students. Fully vaccinated students who are close contact do not have to test nor quarantine.
Okay. Thank you for the, sorry.
Just for clarification, so it actually didn't really have to do with quarantine. It just had to do with the test and stay versus the pool testing. So at the high school, there's no pool testing. It's only test and stay, because it looked to me like from the email that was sent out that there's pool testing on Wednesdays at the high school.
No, I think you might have said the middle school on Wednesday. So middle school grade 6 is running pool testing because those kids are not vaccine eligible. There is no pool testing program running in grades 7 through 12.
Okay, great. So if you opt in for the high school into the program,
you're opting into symptomatic testing for everybody, and you're opting into test and stay for unvaccinated students.
Okay, great.
Yep.
And the vaccine.
Oh, sorry about that.
I missed it.
Sorry, I'm gonna. Yeah, here we go.
Oh, sorry. And then
Sorry
if you're vaccinated, there's no concern whatsoever whether, in the high school basically are eligible.
Correct, unless you're symptomatic, and then we would do symptomatic testing.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for clarifying.
Yep,
that was really helpful.
And Carrie, I just like to thank Susie for her question, because I think she's absolutely right. It adds a level of understanding, clarity. So, we'll take this information tonight and try to add a deeper level of understanding on the vaccination side, because I think that was her question, because we have kids that are vaccinated.
Mm-hmm. That's great. Okay, other communications. I just wanted to note that the school committee last week underwent training with Darnisa Amante Jackson, who gave a great convocation address and has been working with our equity team. So it was on the subject of diversity, belonging, inclusion, and equity, which is going to be a real focus for the district this year. We really enjoyed working with her, and I think there's more to come on that. Does anyone else have any communications that they want to bring up? No. And then Ness may want to talk about the training under the subcommittee and project reports too, but just wanted to mention it up front. Next is unfinished business, which is to discuss proposed changes to policy EBCFA, which is face coverings, to ensure consistency with the Massachusetts Department of Elementary and Secondary Education mask mandate and act as appropriate. And this is just something that came after we passed our face covering policy, DESE then issued a mask mandate, and there were some discrepancies between our policy and DESE. So we're just going to try to align them. So Jen, if you want this.
Sure, sure. So the first thing I just wanted to discuss was from the DESE mask requirement from August 25th that we do not have in our policy is the mask being required for any sports related activities and student athletes, coaches when indoors, in alignment with guidance provided by the Massachusetts Interscholastic Athletic Association. So my proposal would be to add that language in there as well in our policy so that it is consistent with the DESE guidance. And then the other one that we do not have in is I believe it is the mask may be removed indoors when necessary to participate in elective classes such as use of wind instruments and band. I don't believe we have language on that. I think we did last year, but we took that portion out on this year's policy.
Okay, so to start with the athletic one, does anyone have any objection to adding that language in? No. Okay, and then for the extracurricular band, is everyone good with adding that in as well?
Do you want me to read exactly the language of what DESE has?
Yeah, that would be good.
Sure. It says masks will be removed indoors when necessary to participate in elective classes, such as the use of wind instruments and band. When traditional masks cannot be worn, districts should consider additional mitigations, such as the use of instrument masks or bell covers, along with physical distancing or outdoor classes as feasible. So that last part it's more just I think a recommendation from them. So it would be masks may be removed indoors when necessary to participate in elective classes such as the use of wind instruments and band.
Okay.
Be what I would propose to add
Liza?
in.
I would prefer the whole, with everything that DESE wrote,
Sure.
including the second sentence, when traditional masks cannot be worn, districts should, or
Just should
teachers should
consider additional
consider-
mitigations.
yeah,
Okay.
Mhm.
So that whole paragraph. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Tim, did you have a question?
I did. This is more related to the music than for the athletics, just in terms of close contacts. Is there enough space in the music classes to be able to distance people enough where if somebody tests positive, the whole class won't be tested, or like if people are unmasked in a chorus class, if somebody tests positive, are the students able to be spaced in such a way that it would not count as a close contact for the entire class? And I don't know if there's an answer to that we have now, but it's just a question I would have.
Gary?
Yeah, Tim, I think that's a very fair question. I think what we can do between now and next week is try to consult with our music staff to look at where they're practicing. And I know that's one of the things that we're very concerned about. You know, music is, one of those not outside, outdoors, but, not a regular academic program where you're in the classroom. You're in an auditorium. You could be in the music classroom. You could be outside. So I think it really is dependent on where those opportunities are housed. So let me do this. Let me inquire with the music department, and I can get back to the school committee as soon as I possibly can to let you know how those classes are matriculating and operating throughout this school year. I know that they have done a number of things to try to adjust to give additional space, but again, I'm not familiar unless anyone else from the district is on tonight that can actually lend to that conversation.
Yes.
Yeah, if I can just add, I think the guidance stated that for chorus and singing, masks should be worn. It's masks are recommended to be worn while singing and speaking. So I think it was talking about the wind instruments and trying to get something around there, but I don't necessarily think they were talking about being unmasked for singing.
Yeah, Jamie?
Correct.
So I will confirm with both Brian, our secondary music coordinator, and Joanne, our elementary coordinator, tomorrow. My understanding was they were using masks with slits for the mouthpieces and covers at the end of the instruments that blow out. So again, because we're running the testing and staying model, it's unlikely we would have to quarantine an entire music class. And I do know that the music department, based on feedback from the National Music Association, was using appropriate masks and precautions in the music, in particularly the ensembles, the performance ensembles. But I will confirm tomorrow with both Brian and Joanne and confirm with Dr. Maestas so we can get back to you with a firm answer. But that is my understanding, and that is in the guidance that we released on masks. As a whole section on music where they'd be using appropriate masks and covers for the instruments.
And one more quick question. I don't know if it's is it under the authority of school committee to say if you are involved in indoor unmasked activities that you you don't opt out of or you definitely have to opt into the test and stay program? I don't know if that's, a power we have.
My understanding is it's parental consent. And I don't know that you can serve in place of the parent on that front.
Okay. Yeah, Michelle, do you have something?
Sorry, I was just following up on that, though. I think that is another excellent example of why folks should try to opt into the test and stay program if they can. I know parents have, a lot of feelings on the testing protocols and whatnot, but it is our best chance of keeping the kids in the schools and keeping these activities like wind instruments and chorus and band from continuing on throughout the year. So a shameless plug for opting in for test and stay.
And maybe athletic and music departments can send out their own messaging encouraging people to do test and stay because it would help their programs run uninterrupted.
It's a good idea. Okay, Ness?
So I wanted to try to understand what was going to happen with PE classes. I thought we could have the kids unmasked so long as the activities were spaced, but I didn't know if that guidance was superseded with the MIAA guidance that came out saying masks for sports must be worn for indoor.
So,
Yeah.
go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, Jen?
Yeah, the MIAA is very limited to MIAA activities. So that's one thing that they've been very strict about, that they've been clear on communicating that. One of the things that I've heard from family members and that are concerned is, why haven't we adopted the MIAA standard for classrooms or for PE classrooms? Well, within the PE classroom, it really depends on the activity, whether it's an inside activity, outside activity, how much space they have. So that's one of the things that we're asking our, we'll continue to work with our principals and our staff to look at opportunities to increase spacing as much as possible during those activities. But the way the Department of Education guidance reads, it's very simple that masks are not necessarily required for PE. I think they wanted to encourage that kind of activity to take place without so much restriction. But again, I think it really depends on how we structure those activities and those classes. I think our PE staff across the district have a variety of opportunities in front of them to work with students to increase spacing for activities so that we can enjoy what the intent is of this opportunity. Jamie may have a comment to this as well.
Well, I was just going to add that we'll work with just to be clear about physical education, is they actually, as full teachers, they run units of study. And so what I know is the department as a whole is working on particular units, and what's the best location and requirements around that unit of study. So certain things will lend themselves to more spacing as the teachers are teaching explicit skills in PE, and other activities will require masking because they won't be able to maintain a certain distance. But we will coordinate with the principals as well as Erica Shinny, our PE coordinator, to ensure that management is ongoing throughout the course of the year, just to give everybody a level of reassurance. It's not, the kids really don't just dump into a gym and play, right? That they're actually being taught physical education skills and in sequence associated with the curriculum frameworks, and that each unit of study that the kids engage in have different requirements. And my understanding from the department is they're managing that unit by unit and not necessarily PE as a whole. So they are aware of the guidance and are making the necessary precautions depending on the upcoming unit of study. But we'll confirm more and get some information back to the committee.
So Nez, on currently the way our policy reads now, it's additional face masks or face coverings will not be required when appropriate distancing is available. And then there's 2 bullets. And then the last one is during physical education. And then I'm proposing that we add in the statement from the DESE language that masks are required for any sports related activity for student athletes and coaches. And that's the language from the MIAA. And then the last thing that I had was on the final part of the policy, we had added that the policy will remain in place until rescinded by the school committee and will be reviewed every 4 weeks as necessary. That is what we had prior to last time. And then we added in the language of being reviewed by the DESE announcement that was coming out. So we would take out the policy will remain in place until rescinded by the school committee and we reviewed following an announcement. We would take out following the announcement because that's what we're doing right now. And then add in back to what we originally had, that it will be reviewed every 4 weeks or as necessary. I didn't know if anyone wanted to discuss that. I had any comments.
I think, sorry.
And I'm not seeing everyone, so.
I think it was Liza, Michelle.
Go ahead,
Liza.
Michelle.
Thanks, Liza. I was just going to say, I'm not sure, I'm not sure that we want to strike the following announcement. Maybe we just, by the Massachusetts Department of Elementary and Secondary Ed, maybe we want to strike the word "and," but I'm just thinking we may need to review it. If DESE comes out with other guidance, we may need to be reviewing it multiple times.
Yeah, I was going to add the same thing, that maybe it will be reviewed following any
the date in.
any updates by the Massachusetts mandating or something like that. Just we leave that in case, because they're going to come back prior to October 1st and say something.
Mm-hmm.
So this policy will remain in place until rescinded by the school committee and will be reviewed following any updates by Massachusetts Department of Elementary and Secondary Education mandating masks in school buildings, and then every 4 weeks or as necessary. Okay. Does anyone have anything else? Carrie?
No, I think that's great. Are we comfortable voting on this tonight, or do we want to wait for clarification on Tim's question, or Liza?
I would like to wait and get clarification on the whole music section. Because maybe even the way the DESE thing is worded is not actually appropriate for what we're doing. And so if we can get clarification on the distancing and then what the staff is actually doing, and we'll write it similar to the DESE, but we may be able to craft it to be specific.
Okay. Is that okay with the administrative team?
Yes, so what we'll do is we will spend some time collecting information to have ready before the next school committee meeting, so you can have a good sense of what their thoughts are prior to the meeting.
Okay.
I also think it's consistent with our policy of doing a first reading and voting the second meeting, so I appreciate that.
Okay, great. So we'll put this on the agenda for the 20th. Thank you, Jen. Next is 9.1 to hear a proposal to increase adult meal process and act prices. I think that means and act as appropriate. John, I think this is you.
Yes, it is. Thank you very much. Yeah, so the proposal came from Kim Smith. You know, as we enter into fiscal 22 and fiscal 21 was the same way, really. All of student lunches were free. You know, so and for all of FY 21, student lunches will be free too. But needless to say, you know, the program has experienced you know, significant losses over the past couple of years. And then also right now, currently, we're experiencing significant inflation, right? Kim's been having a very difficult time getting any products. We just got a notice today from the shipping company saying shipping costs have increased 600%. You know, but she brought this up to me to increase the price of adult meals only, you know, for fiscal 22 from a price of $4.25 to $5.50. Currently, the price is, and that would include deli as well, right? So we're asking for an increase in price. I think it was actually, yeah, adult meals are at $4.25 currently, and deli is at $5.25. And she's asked for an increase of the adult meal and the deli combined, you know, for $5.50 for whether it be a regular main meal or whether it be a deli meal. We haven't increased prices in 10 years. Another factor that's weighing into this right now also is that the federal reimbursement is actually increased. So they're giving us now, you know, a total of $4.37 per student meal. You know, that's the reimbursement rate. So as we stand right now, adult meals at $4.25 are below that, and that's against the regulations anyhow. So we really, you know, have to get above that amount anyhow. I think, you know, we all sort of understand the shortages that are going on, and even though there isn't an inflation according to, you know, the Fed or that's going to abate, you know, it's probably these food prices are going to be stuck with us for quite a while. You know, the program, while it had a healthy balance before we entered the COVID era, you know, has experienced significant losses. You know, we're almost at a zero balance in the cash flow right now. Hopefully we will get some, you know, we've got some Plymouth County money returned. So hopefully we'll be able to direct some of that Plymouth County money towards the food service program to make up for, you know, their portions of that. So, and then hopefully the program gets back on track and we start, you know, becoming a profitable organization again. Not profitable, but one that can be self-supporting, buy its own equipment and you know, manage its payroll and processes and whatnot. I don't have the exact figure, but adult meals are not a significant portion of the revenue. And, you know, when you think about, you know, $5.50 for a meal or for a deli, you can't get that in a restaurant. So, you know, I would hope that the committee would agree and, you know, make a my recommendation is to increase the price to $5.50 for FY22. And hopefully we don't have to increase it again for several years. We haven't had an increase in 10 years.
Okay, great. Gary, did you have your hand up for?
I did, but it was, if you could just come back to me before the next item, that'd be great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anyone have any questions or comments for John?
Clarify, adult meals are just teachers and staff who choose to buy their lunch in the cafeterias.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if I went there or if I was there, you know, sometimes in the past I've brought people to, you know, to high school, or, you know, not people, but, you know, fire chiefs or police department or, you know, some people where I want to show them the schools or other people in the town. Any adult meal, Tim. So any person buying an adult meal in the cafeteria, not just staff and teachers.
Michelle?
I hate to be the one to do it, but I will. I hear you and I get it's been 10 years, but I just feel like this is not the year to raise the prices for the adults in the buildings who have been, I know it's $1.25 and it's on it. It just doesn't feel like the right year to do it in my opinion, and particularly if it's not a significant, if it's not going to move the needle significantly. And I know it's very small, but it just doesn't feel like the right time to do it for me.
Anyone else? So I hear that, I guess. So, but you're saying that we have to increase it to 437 to be in compliance with the regulations anyway, is that right?
It has to be above the student meal, sure.
So we have to raise it anyway. And it is $1, and it's not a lot of money. So I don't know. I mean, does anyone else in the committee? Liza?
I could see, I don't have a problem raising it. I could see raising the deli to $5.50 and the regular price to just $5, the regular meal to just $5. Because we do have to be within the regulations, and it has been 10 years. And I can see there is value of the deli compared to the other meal. But I think we should raise it. There is the reality of costs. I was in the grocery store the other day, and another woman I didn't even know was walking by and saying, wow, costs are going up. And there is reality of life that we're living right now. I can see how the regular meal has been priced differently than the deli meal. So we could keep that differential to help people. But I would go for a compromise, but I think we should raise it.
Carlos?
I would agree that, you need to increase something. I don't have a ability to do my calculator right now because I'm using the phone. John, 12% would be approximately what? $55, $60? I mean, 55 to 60 cents.
Yeah, about 50 cents. 12% is 12%
Yeah.
is 51 cents.
Yeah, so that would bring to close to $5, right? Because it's $5.20. You say $5.25 right now, right?
The meal right now is $4.25, and the
$4.25.
deli is $5.25, and the proposal that I made was $5.50. But you guys are, so yeah.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with increasing because obviously, we keep talking about increasing fees and different things so we can be up to par. I'm not really sure if I want to go the full dollar.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
that's pretty much it.
Okay. So does anyone else have any thoughts on this? Jen?
I like what Liza said about going to the $5 and then the $5.50 for the deli.
Mhm.
We just making this too complicated, and $5.50 is a reasonable price for a lunch, and we should just do it because that's what Kim is asking for. I don't know if we're overthinking this.
Yeah, that's my concern too. So what do we want to do?
I move that you apply the increases as recommended by Kim Smith
Okay, do we have a second?
or John Ferris.
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor? We'll do roll call. Michelle?
I am a no.
Okay. Jen?
Aye.
Ness?
I struggle with that one, but
Okay, Carlos?
Aye.
Tim?
If I could vote down increased chicken costs, then I would vote that down.
Liza?
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. Okay, so the fees are increased. Next
Thank
is,
you. Thank you.
okay, thanks, John. 9.2 to discuss a proposed field trip to Europe in April of 2022 and act as appropriate. Gary, do you want to?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and kick it off. I'd like to see if the committee, I'd like to have our principals released from the meeting tonight, except for Rick, sorry. I think they've had a extraordinarily long day today to get the schools up and running. So I'd like to see if we could let them fade off and get some rest, shut eye before tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
Is that all right?
You
Okay.
can applaud them out.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
And then tonight we have a request for an international field trip. And, you know, I got this request shortly after I started. And Joe Young, Dr. Young is presented this. He's familiar with this type of work. And I'd like to, through you, Chairwoman Nee, turn it over to Joe to kind of give an overview of what this trip is like. Keep in mind, this is an unusual trip under COVID times. This is a normal trip under normal times. So it's one of those things that we have to take into consideration, that we're trying to reemerge after COVID. And you know, Joe has done a lot of work to present this and prepare this for tonight. So I'll turn it over to Joe, and Principal Swanson is here to support in his capacity. So we'll turn it over to Joe. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you very much, everybody, for giving me the time, and I will try to be brief, but I'll go into as much detail as you'd like if what I am providing you is not sufficient. Traditionally, we have gone on European tours from time to time. The first one was in 2008, where we went to Germany and Poland. It was a performing tour that also included a musical exchange with high school students. It was always my intention to go about every 4 years, so that every student, as they went through high school, would have one and only one opportunity to go to Europe. That is, so that it wouldn't be an undue financial burden on a family if they were asked to go twice in a 4-year period. But it also gives every student the opportunity to go overseas, which I think is an incredibly vital, valuable, and almost essential part of their education, culturally, musically. 4 years ago, we went to Italy and we visited Venice, Florence, and Rome, and it was a life-changing experience for many students. Now 4 years hits us in 2022 in April. And so we are provided the opportunity to go again to Europe. And I don't want to deny those students that are now on the precipice of college to not have the opportunity to go to Europe, as we are, and we all have to agree, I think, that we are starting to emerge from this COVID pandemic. It's reasonable to think that a trip such as this in April of 2022 is indeed possible. We would be going to Prague of the Czech Republic. We would go to Salzburg and Vienna in Austria. And this is in part to support the musical programming that we're doing, that includes a major works concert in May of 2022 featuring a Missa Brevis by Mozart. So the students would have the opportunity to go to Salzburg to see where Mozart lived and grew up, and to go to Vienna, where he, of course, presented so many of his mature works, as well as music of Haydn. We have a small choral program now, in part because of the pandemic. So we've got smaller numbers, which makes it difficult to take a group that is viable that you could perform. So our performance opportunities may be a little bit limited, but we can still do an exchange with a high school group. But because a small group would mean a higher price per student, I've decided to invite the students of the GCP program and AP Euro classes, and I've consulted with the two teachers there, and they're fully on board and think it would be an appropriate way to kind of add people to the program, to the tour, and to help keep the costs reasonable. The trip would be April 14th through the 21st, so we'd be leaving on the Thursday before April vacation. Typically that Friday, they would miss school Thursday and Friday, but at that time, Friday is Good Friday, so we wouldn't have school that day, so they would miss only a day on Thursday. They would also be overseas, not only on Good Friday, but they'd be overseas on Easter Sunday, which for a lot of families I know would be a difficult thing to contemplate. However, we would provide those students an opportunity to attend a service of their choice on that Sunday. They obviously wouldn't be with their family, which is unfortunate, but it would be pretty fantastic to go to an Easter service in Prague of the Czech Republic. I think it could be something extremely memorable. And I don't want to deny students who happen to be practicing Christians the opportunity to go on a trip like this, because I really don't think there's any other time that would allow us to take a trip of this length. And you really need to take a trip of this length in order to make it worth their while. The trip is about $3,200, and it includes airfare, hotel, 2 meals a day, and all admissions to everything, including a concert, a public concert of Mozart's music in a concert hall in Vienna. One thing I should also mention with regard to COVID, that there is the opportunity for all students, and we virtually require them to take out trip insurance. And there are different levels of trip insurance that they would be able to take, including cancel for any reason trip insurance, which would apply in almost every case, including if a country was to close their borders to our travel. The students would still be able to get reimbursed if they took out that trip insurance. Now, on a trip of $3,200, a trip insurance at that level costs about $141. It's not that significant when you consider the security that you would get, the financial security. So I would recommend that everybody would do that, and we'd have conversations with the parents about that. There's a whole big long of FAQs regarding COVID and trip insurance and cancellations and so forth. So I'm just going to leave that in case you wanted to ask a specific question or refer to that document, which I did forward to Gary and Rick, as well as a copy of our itinerary. Boy, I tried to be fast. Was that fast enough?
That was good. My question is, do you need chaperones? Because this sounds like a fantastic trip.
Well, if chaperones are willing to pay full freight, yes. The trip does provide free trip for one adult out of every 10 or 15, depending. So I'm trying to keep that just to me. And if we get a certain number of students, then Catherine Black or Erica Pollard would come along, I think. But I know parents are always saying, can we come? Can we come? I suppose they could if they were willing to pay. I don't think there's any problem with that. And the more the merrier, as long as I like them.
Okay.
And their children agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. Michelle, did you have a question?
No, I was just going to make a comment that this seems like an amazing trip. Salzburg is actually one of my most favorite cities. I think everyone should get a chance to go there. So it's great, especially when you're studying Mozart. So I think it sounds like a fantastic opportunity for the students. I'm a little concerned, but given the cost of insurance, I think that's pretty reasonable cost, especially for cancel for any reason. So I feel better about that, because that really was my only concern. If it gets canceled, let's hope not, though.
Yeah, thank you.
Carlos, did you have something?
Mr. Young, I wish you and the students good luck. I hope the trip does come to fruition. And I'm sure you will do everything you can to ensure that they are safe and there is no issue. What I want to say is take advantage of Dr. Maester, because he did build a very successful, or he was involved with building successful exchange programs. So I would love to see our trips become eventually exchange programs where, our students go there, they're hosted by families and vice versa. Because I really believe that the students would learn a lot more by spending time there with families, if that's possible. So, I know that we've been talking about exchange programs for quite a while. We ought to take advantage of Dr. Maester's because that's another one of his strengths.
Thank you so much. That's a great suggestion. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else have any comments or questions? Liza?
Hi, yeah, thank you. Thank you for putting this together. It does sound like a great trip. A couple of other things I think would be helpful for transparency of costs. If you could find out, maybe the trip packager could find out that if the trip is canceled, is there any non-refundable deposit required? There was a trip to China a couple of years ago that Erica Pollard was, well, it was our first shutdown year. And there was a $100 non-refundable deposit that the trip was canceled, but we were still responsible for that $100. So, and it was in the package, it was in the materials, so that was clear. So I think that would just be something to make sure that that's clear in anything the parents get. And then I was reading through the insurance information and I was gonna ask, what would be the fee for cancel for any reason, which I agree with you. I think we should encourage people to take that. But there was information in there about COVID testing required upon return to the US. And then also when it might be required leaving to enter the Czech Republic. And so I think those two aspects should be clearly defined of how that's going to happen and what those costs are going to be. Because that's an additional cost that now, I mean, maybe leaving from here to get the cost, you can go to one of the testing centers that are here, you can get a free test. But coming back, the trip packager will have to organize for the kids to for everyone to be tested and coming back. So that'll be another cost. So
I read that too. And if the cost is prescribed by a practicing physician, then that cost would be covered under the insurance. If it was prescribed by a government entity, then that would not be covered.
So I'm not talking about getting a reimbursement if it's for entering back into the country. When you're traveling back into the US customs, you have to have a test. So that test then, it's not something, well, I guess then that's something to determine if you get insurance, is that covered under the insurance, or is that just part of your travel expenses?
Okay, I'll have to dig into that FAQ.
Yeah, and I would assume the chore packager should be able to provide that information.
Yeah.
But just, knowing how it's all going to work and knowing what your true costs are, I think that would be helpful. And just for peace of mind, for safety, that as everyone's going, it's a good opportunity, and I hope we can all be optimistic and hope that it would happen. So
Yeah,
thank you.
Thank you. It's time to live again, and I'm all for that.
Okay. Are we comfortable voting on this tonight? Okay, somebody like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the field trip for the Hingham High School field trip to, Prague, Salzburg, Vienna for April 14th through 22nd, 2022.
Thank you. Do we have a second? Thank you. All in favor? Michelle?
Aye.
Jen?
Aye.
Ness?
Aye.
Carlos?
Aye.
Tim?
Aye.
Liza?
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. So have a great trip.
Thank you. Thank you so much, everybody.
Yes.
Next is 9.3 to receive homeschool applications for 2 students, grades 3 and 4, and act as appropriate. The application's in your packet. Dr. Maestas, do you want to say anything about that?
Yes, we have 2 homeschool applications that have been submitted to the school district. These 2 plans have been reviewed and meet the guidelines set forth by the school committee, and I recommend approval.
Okay. Somebody like to make a motion?
Sorry, I was on mute. Yes, I'll make a motion to approve the homeschool applications as presented by the superintendent.
I'll second.
Thank you. Michelle?
Aye.
Jen?
Aye.
Yes.
Aye.
Carlos?
Aye.
Tim?
Aye.
Liza?
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. The applications are approved. Item 9.4 is to receive notification of fall coaching recommendations. Those are in everyone's packet. Does anyone have any questions or comments? No. Okay, thank you. 9.5 is to receive notification of lane changes, also in the packet. Any questions or comments? Okay. Seeing none, item 10 is subcommittee and project reports. We will go alphabetically for this too, and also the warrant signed. So Michelle?
Sorry, I have a couple things. Dr. Maestas and myself and Carol Perez are going to restart up the monthly Metco parent meetings starting in October. So again, thank you to Sherry once again, because she's going to help coordinate those, put them on Gary's calendar, and get invitations out to the Metco families. On special education, I have to reach out to Dr. Vinnis this week to schedule a subcommittee meeting. Building committee is meeting tonight, but I'm here instead with this wonderful crowd, so I'm missing what's happening over there, but they were having a discussion about the Plymouth River window project. But I think that's it. Just welcome back to everybody and looking forward to a great school year that is hopefully uninterrupted.
Great, thank you. Jen, do you have anything?
Yes, just that I attended the foster PTO meeting with Carrie. We, as well as a couple members of the school building committee, were also attended the PTO meeting. We had a great conversation with the parents, and Carrie and I were able to answer some school committee related questions, and then the building committee members who were there were also able to answer some questions. One thing I just would like to share with the entire committee is that one of the things that was expressed by some of the foster parents was the challenges that I think that they went through with being on 2 separate campuses last year, and how pleased they are to be back all together, and kind of reconnecting with the families now that they're all back together on one campus. And I just wanted to kind of be mindful of that and just kind of share that with everybody. And the other thing I have is just I will be attending the SNAP meeting on September 14th for a short while. So we have another meeting that night as well. And that's it.
Thank you, Jen. Ness?
Yeah, so as part of finance, you have some warrants in your packet, and then part of the equity and inclusion task force, as Carrie had mentioned, the school committee met with Dr. Monte Jackson, who is our coach. He's been working with the equity and inclusion task force for the past year. So we've met with her a handful of times, and we thought that it would be nice for the school committee to have a working session to go through how the district is moving forward, and to just talk about what equity means and how we personally move forward and think about it. So I thought it was a really great session. Brought out some really great discussions. And that was it.
Great, thank you. Carlos?
The Hingham Climate Action Committee will be meeting on the 22nd. Finally. Looking forward to the first meeting.
Thank you, Carlos. Tim?
I just want to say happy Rosh Hashanah. I know it ended during our meeting, so I'd acknowledge that, and also acknowledge that, again, there were several events in Hingham that were initially scheduled to be during religious holidays, and we heard people loud and clear that that's not acceptable or okay, and so we've been working to redo the cultural calendar and make that a living document. Rena Patel and Katie Sutton from the Hingham Unity Council have helped us with that, and really done a lot of the lion's share of work with that. So I wanted to thank them publicly for that work. But just know that we know that that is a problem, and we're working on it to make sure that doesn't happen again.
Is the calendar ready to go, Tim?
I believe it is, yes.
Okay,
so
great.
I know it's been shared with Michelle, but I can share it with the rest of school committee so it can be dispersed to
great.
whoever
If you
wants
can,
it.
if you could send it to Gary too, so we can get it to the staff. I think it's really important that teachers and coaches have that.
Yeah,
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, I did send it to Sherry with a couple of edits just in the header about exactly how to use it. Because I was thinking, and Jamie, I don't know if Sherry had a chance to send it over to you yet, just to read it, because I was thinking too, like, I thought it should be important that also like our PTOs are aware of it as well, and that they're using it when scheduling, staff appreciation or any kind of celebrations in the buildings if it's gonna be a holiday. So
yeah,
we're also working on how to bring it into the district calendar so we don't have 2 separate documents floating around, so it becomes part of the annual update. And many other districts will actually list other major holidays from other major religions right on their school calendar. So that
Yeah.
it was from the outset. So we appreciate the input of and the support of the Unity Council and sort of the people that put it together for us. But now it's time for us to take it over and have it be which is why this happens, right? When we don't have so we're going to bring it over, and next year with the calendar, when you get the first proposal in the spring, you hopefully have a section that will include all of the major holidays from other major religions to ensure there's no misunderstanding of when we should be scheduling or not scheduling school events. But we really appreciate it and are excited. It'll be up probably by the end of the week and distributed to everyone.
That's terrific. Thank you. See, Liza, do you have anything?
Salary negotiations we discussed in executive session. Susan, we can talk tomorrow. And wellness, I'm gonna let Heidi Vigneault and Jim Quattromoni get settled into the school year before we bug them about working on more things. So maybe by the time we meet again, I'll have dates set for getting together with them. But that's it.
Great. And I don't have anything. I have curriculum, but again, I want to just like Liza, I want to let everyone get settled into the school year before we tackle anything. So I think, does anyone have anything not reasonably known within 48 hours in advance of the meeting?
Yeah, just a question on October 2nd for the workshop. Would you consider having that, that available for us via Zoom? Most likely I'm going to be in Maine that day. I'm not sure if that's possible.
Well, I mean, even if we can talk about it, even if we do it in person, we could set up a Zoom link for you to participate remotely. So
That would be great. That would
we'll
be
figure out a
great.
way for you. Yeah, we'll figure out a way for you to join us either way.
Great. Thank you.
But yeah, no, thank you. All right, let me just add that to my list. Okay, so with that, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Michelle?
Aye.
Jen?
Aye.
Ness? Carlos?
Aye.
Tim?
Aye.
Liza?
Bye.
And I am an aye as well. We are adjourned at 8:09 p.m.